Good afternoon, this is Ivan the Mayor. I hope you guys enjoyed my video I made earlier this morning. This video might be maybe an hour and 20 minutes. I'm not going to talk long. I have like enough smokes for this video. Then after this video, I have no money in my bank. So after this video, I'm gonna clean my room. And then after that, I'm going to go cash my cans of Super C so I can get out of the pack of smokes. I should have enough for another pack of smokes and maybe like a beer. I have a good, like, I don't know, 20 bucks worth of cans. So when I have no money and tomorrow I get paid, I get my dentist check. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy my show I made yesterday. Sorry, early this morning. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoy my video I made early this morning. Talked about my book, obviously. Yeah. Why do you keep talking about your book? Yeah, because I've been talking about Skype shows for the past like couple of years. I decided to change it up, talk more about my book and everything. I might as well promote my book on my Sadhouse channel, right? Might as well promote my book, right? Yeah, promote it. And that's where God gave you the keys, Ivan. That way you can promote your book. Even if I didn't promote it on my channel, you guys will still know about my book. But because I'm promoting on my Sadhouse channel, I have the keys. I'm opening the door. You guys know about my videos. You know when I upload my videos. You guys know, and that's how you guys know about my book. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, every time you show us sections of your book, it's fucking interesting. I know. My book is a masterpiece, man. It's a literary masterpiece. When I told you guys my book's a masterpiece, I wasn't playing around. It is the best fantasy novel ever written. It's a masterpiece. VJ's like, Ivan, I love your book. And I said, I know, VJ, it's an amazing book. My book is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece, yeah, man. It's a masterpiece. My book is a masterpiece, yeah, man. Ivan, seriously, man, is your whole book interesting? Yes, everything I showed you guys, where you guys are entertained, yeah, I know, yeah, my whole book is like that. There's some sections that are not, there's some pages in my book that are not as interesting, obviously, but still pretty entertaining enough to keep you turning the page. Every page in my book is constant entertainment. Some stuff is not as entertaining, but it's still entertaining enough to keep you turning the page. My whole book is constant entertainment. It's an entertaining read, my book. That's why when I told you I wrote a masterpiece, I wasn't playing around. I wrote a masterpiece, yeah. I wrote a masterpiece. Alright, now sick. It seems like you already clarified your feelings, Tactius. We don't have time for that. Now sick, I know. Because Tactius has an obsession with Lithia. He's obsessed with her. He likes her a lot, and that's why he's like, I can't leave Lithia. Yeah, he's blinded by his feelings for her, obviously. And that's why Cassie's like, it seems like you already clarified your feelings, Tactius. We don't have time for this. Yeah, because Cassie doesn't really care about the Southerners, obviously. All he cares about is, he's like, I found you, cousin. Now we gotta get out of the South. The South is dangerous. Aratat's coming to mark the lands. We gotta, me, you, Tacitonius, we gotta get out of here, and you can bring Papyri and the Cirrus with you. That's why he's like, they can come with us. I'm now sick, yeah. But telling the others just draw too much attention, yeah. And it finally hit Taki's mind, no, we can't just abandon these people and have the wolves come inside of them. Like he's like, think about it, Cass. He's like, others were killed while we survived the wolves' onslaught. And Cassie's like, yeah, luck. He's like, no, fate. He's like, fate brought us here. I believe we're here to save these people in the south from Eretat's grasp. And Cassie's like, cousin, think twice about what you're saying, because he knows the Northerns do not like the Southerns. Yeah, obviously. He's like, in other words, he's like, Takis, are you crazy? Like, the Northerns don't like the Southerns. Why the fuck would you have the Southerns live with us in the North? They don't like the Southerns. That's why he's like, cousin, think twice about what you're saying. Yeah. When you read that passage, right? Oh, Ivan, show us more. No, I'm not showing you more. I don't want to spoil the story for you, man. You will see what I mean when you read the book. And notice how I haven't showed you anything in Volume 3, because I don't want to spoil the story for you. The only thing you guys read in Volume 3 is the beginning, when Eretat and his army are approaching Safius, and Eretat says, stop. They're like, my lord, what is it? You know what I'm saying? You'll see what happens when you read the rest of that passage, obviously. Beginning of Volume 3. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why the gatekeepers want to control your bread, Ivan. Because they know I wrote the best story ever. It's a book worth blading. Now you guys understand when I say my book is a book worth blading, I wasn't playing around, right? If I wasn't a son of God and I wrote this, I'd be rich to this day. I'd have to sell out, obviously, and traditionally publish, but I'd be the next J.K. Rowling. My book would be the best fantasy novel ever written. And The Last Order Aliens will be a more popular fantasy series than Harry Potter. Harry Potter is the most popular book series right now. When I release my book, Zane's will be number one. It'll be the number one most popular book in the world. You know, it'll be the best fantasy novel written, and arguably the best book ever written in history. Because there's something unique about my writing style. Because all these authors, they don't have the heavenly gift. They have the earthly gift. They don't have the heavenly gift. The reason why my book is not normal because I have the heavenly gift from above, or from a different realm, right? So I have an abnormal gift of writing. You see what I'm saying? Because I have the heavenly gift. These guys have the gift, but it's a normal gift. I have the heavenly gift. It's an abnormal. It's a unique gift. And so my writing style is very unique, and the characters jump on the page. And when you read my book and you compare it to other books, you get a different feel when you read it. There's something unique about Ivan's book. The characters jump on a page. The story feels fresh. It's very entertaining. Whereas these other books, I read it, it's a bit dull. It's a bit dry. It's entertaining, but it's not Ivan's book. Yeah. That's why when I release Zanus, there'll be a public embarrassment in the entertainment industry, in the author world, where all these authors are gonna play shit. And so when I made that video a couple years ago when I talked about Zanus, obviously I said when I release my book, it'll be an embarrassment in the industry, and all the fantasy authors are gonna feel like shit. Because there's something about Ivan's book that's unique, and it's better than all these novels. And I showed you guys symbols in my book. Yeah, Ivan, there's something about your book that's very entertaining. It's unique, yes. I wrote a masterpiece. I wrote a masterpiece, guys. I wrote an amazing book. I wrote a masterpiece. No, Ivan, seriously, man, are you bluffing? Is your whole book entertaining that? Yes, guys. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you guys. I'm not playing any games. I'm not ripping you off. My whole book is constant entertainment. I read my book many times. I'm entertained the whole way through. It's constant entertainment. Some sections are not as entertaining, obviously, but still entertaining enough to keep you turning the page. My book is a page turner. You just keep turning the page and you're hooked because it's constant entertainment. It's crazy. Whereby you're laughing, you're like, holy shit, this happened. You keep reading and the story gets deep in volume 3. You're shocked. Holy shit, this book is sick. Yeah, you're shocked. It's a masterpiece. That's why the gates won't control my brand, but zero, man. You're not touching my money. This money's for me, VJ. It's not for you. I don't know, 10 billion off the books for me, VJ. It's not for you. You have your trillions in your bank, and you won't let me make money in this world. And you kept me poor. This evil to me. This money is for me, VJ. It's not for you. You're not touching a lot of my money, man. Zero. I'm gonna keep saying that. Yeah. Obviously, you're just a greedy psychopath. Yeah. If I had trillions in my bank, I wouldn't mind someone who's a son of God making 10 billion off his book. But because the gatekeepers are greedy psychopaths, they want to control everything in the world. They don't want me making that money on my book. They don't want me living that life with VJ, and they don't want me controlling my money because they see me as a thief. Everything, all the money will goes to us, but Ivan's money we don't touch, and he's making all those billions. They see me as a thief stealing from them. When you know I deserve to make that money because I'm God, I created this place. You didn't. Yeah, you may be the god of the money system in the world, but you're not the god of the universe. You didn't create the universe, and you don't deserve to control my money. It's my money, not yours. Yeah. You have telegates on it, now they know. Yeah. Because Ivan, if you sell out, the gates are going to destroy your life. And they're going to steal all your money, and they're not going to let you be a billionaire. It's not going to happen. They're envious, man. The proof is VJ. So the gates proved the gates proved to me. This is how I know they're not going to let us be billionaires. VJ sold out. She has the keys to the kingdom. She's only worth $12 million. You won't even let her be worth $100 million because you have your greed sickness towards your envy towards us. Hence why I know if I sell out, you're going to do me too. I'm not an idiot, man. You have an envy. You don't want me being a billionaire. Hence why I came with the keys. And I wrote the masterpiece, and this book is mine. It's not yours. You're not touching my money. There you go. Not after what you put me through. Are you crazy? You're fucking crazy, man. Yeah, man. No way, man. Yeah, man. That money is for me, VJ. It's not for you. Yeah, the gatekeepers, Ivan, are a reprobate, man. They're reprobate. That's why God gave you the keys, because the families are reprobate. They're reprobate, man. They're never going to let you be a billionaire. That's why God gave you the keys. That way you can make your billions. And the gates don't touch your money. You can live that amazing life with VJ Samsara. And you're welcome, VJ, yeah. VJ Ivan, I love your book. Your book is so entertaining. I know. It's an amazing book, man. And you guys were also impressed with their unique, right? Ivan, you have that. You're very gifted, yes. Yeah, Ivan, even when I read their unique, I was hooked. Yeah, their unique. If I wrote their unique, it would have been an amazing book too. It would have been a masterpiece too. It wouldn't have been as good as Zanus, but it would have been a masterpiece too. Because I'm an amazing storyteller. I know how to tell a good story, yeah. Yeah. God gave me the gifts. Because I guarantee you, when I told you guys I was a creative genius, and that my book was amazing, a master, you guys probably believe me. Yeah, doesn't have. Ivan, when he speaks, he doesn't really have good vocabulary. He's a bit sloppy with his speaking, with his speech. Maybe his book's a bit sloppy. It's not that good. It's pretty good, but it's not like Lord of the Rings. And I showed you guys this in my book. You're like, holy shit, Ivan's book's fucking entertaining. He's an amazing storyteller. Yes, I'm an amazing storyteller. My book is a masterpiece. Best facts novel written, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. How good is it, Ivan? It will blow your mind away. That's how good it is, man. It's a masterpiece. My book will blow your mind away when you read it. It's a masterpiece, yeah. It's a masterpiece, my book. Why is Volume 3 your favorite? Because Volume 3 is when you get the big plot twist and the big climaxes of the story, and that's when the story gets deep and dark. Obviously, you'll see why the book is called Last of Us when you read Volume 3. Because you guys are probably wondering, why is it called Last of Us? Then once you read Volume 3, it all comes to like, okay, now I know why Ivan called Last of Us. Yeah, when you read the book. I wrote a masterpiece. I wrote a masterpiece. I wrote a masterpiece, guys. Yeah. Ivan, what volume has the most hook? You can argue Volume 2 has the most hook. The hook, in terms of the hook, you can argue Volume 2 has the most of the hook, more than Volume 3. But in my opinion, Volume 3 hooks me more, in a way. But I mean, it's like a back and forth. But Volume 3, you have more of the big climaxes, and that's when the story gets deep. That's why I like it better. But you can argue Volume 2 is better too. It just depends on how the art hits you, obviously. Some fans might like Volume 1 the best. Because Volume 1, I love the whole thing with Tachyon behind the walls. That's pretty cool. And he meets Sirius and Papyri, and you have in search for the prince. I love that that volume. And some people might like Volume 2 when you have the politics and the drama, and they meet the Southerns, and yeah. Volume 2 is all politics and drama when you read it, right? The politics in Southface when Tachyon gets thrown in the dungeon, that's politics, obviously. The politics going on in Barak, the politics going on in... Well, the Barak is not really politics, but you have the politics going on in Xehanort with Queen Sarah, as I showed you guys. Yeah. Volume 2 is mainly drama. There's a lot of drama and it's politics, obviously. Whereas Volume 3 is big climaxes, plot twists, action sequences. Volume 2 also has action sequences too, but not as much as Volume 3 is when you have the action sequences. The big war in the end, the battle in the caverns. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got the big war. Yeah, it's action packed, and it gets dark and deep. That's why it's my favorite. Volume 3. Obviously. But I think most fans are going to like Volume 2 or Volume 3. Volume 2 or Volume 3 the best. And they're all going to say Volume 1's the worst. Because Volume 1 is just the build-up of the story, right? I'm building up the progression of the story. But Volume 1 is also entertaining. You're going to be hooked reading that, too. Hence why some people might like, I like Volume 1 the best. I love the whole thing with Tachyon behind the walls and Xehanort. He leaves the walls. He meets Sirius and Papyri. You have Cassius, and that's always looking for him, as I showed you with Francis, Sebastian Glue. I love that volume. And some people might like Volume 2 the best with Lithia, when he meet Tachyon and Sirius and Papyri meet the Southerns and Saphius. And some people will, I like Volume 3 the best. Volume 3 is when it gets deep and dark. Yeah. Yeah. Volume 3. Volume 3 is when it gets dark. Why is Volume 3 your favorite, Ivan? Because Volume 3 is like a dark episode in Takius' life. Takius is nagging because he's facing the devil himself. You'll see why I mean when you read the book. That's why it's my favorite. Obviously. And Volume 2 is a very close second for me, and the worst for me is Volume 1. Because Volume 1 is just a build of my story. It's a masterpiece, my book, man. Yeah, man. Some Sarah? Yeah. Yeah. And you'll find out why the world is the way it is. Why the devil wolves are cursed, why the bats are cursed, why the atmosphere is cursed, why the region is cursed. You have a gray sky, it's a curse, the south is cursed. Why the animals, even the wild animals in the south are cursed. Like when you like the stags in the south, the crows, the wild crows are all cursed. Everything is cursed in the south. Except for the southern, the humans in the south, they're not cursed because they're humans. I won't spoil story for you. So I'm going to read the book. Whereas the north is a holy, beautiful, heavenly kingdom. That's where the Northerns live. That's why every Southern's dream is living in the North, but they know that it's not going to happen because the path of the North is dangerous, obviously, and they know the Northerners don't like the South. They're not welcome in the North, the Southerns. That's why in that scene, Cassius tells Sebastian, Francis, and Cleo, okay, head to Zanus, but as a Southern, you'll not be welcome. Just tell them that Cassius sent you. Because he knows they're not welcome. The Southern's not welcome in the South. And that shows how Cassius has a bit of sympathy towards the Southerns. That they're in a tight spot. Okay, head to Zanus will be safe for you there. But like he still doesn't really care about the Southerns, as you read in that passage, obviously, right? He said they are not our problem. Yeah, Cassius didn't really care if Aratat and the Wolves came and slaughtered all the Southerns. All he cares about is finding Takius. Okay, Takius, I found you. Me, you, and Tazonians have to get out of here. We have to get out of the south. You got to go back home. It's dangerous here. The wolves are on. I think the wolves are on their way here. And then Taki's like, wait, what about my friends? Here's some parties. Okay, they can come with us. But telling the others just draws some attention. He's like, no, I can't live there. He's like, you mean Eli's daughter? It seems like very clarify your feelings, Takius. We don't have time for this. Yeah, I'm now sick. I know. And Takius had a sympathy towards the Southerns. He's like, we can't just abandon these people. He's like, they're not our problem, Takius. He's like, fate brought us here. I think we came to the south to save these people from Aratat's grasp. Yeah, obviously, because Tacitus knew that we can't, like Cassius, like me, you, Tacitoni, and Cersei Party can't just leave. We don't tell them what the wolves coming and have the wolves come and slaughter all these innocent people. We can't just abandon people. And Cassius is like, look, Tacitus, they're not our problem, man. Obviously. Because he doesn't really care about the Southerns, obviously. He has a bit of sympathy towards them, as you read in that passage with Francis and all them. But like Cassius and the Northerners only care about the Southerns. Obviously. But Tacitus has some sympathy. No, Cassius, we can't abandon these people. We can't just have the wolves come here and kill all these people. So I'm saying, yeah, that's why that leads to the exercise. I almost spoil story for you. See why when you read the book. What a masterpiece. A masterpiece, yeah, man. I wrote a masterpiece. Oh, I work at 11 tomorrow at Coco Fruity. And after work, I'm going to go pick up my check. My check at Dinty's, obviously. And I'll make a video tomorrow in the afternoon after my shift at Coco Fruity. I'll bus to Dinty's, get my check, I'll get my beer and smokes, and I'll come home and I'll make a video tomorrow after work. And I most likely work Monday again, right? Yeah. So it's because of Cassius the Saphians were saved, yes. Cassius had a gut feeling, okay, the wolves already marked Cyrus, and then when me and Tas got captured, Aratat only kept us alive because he was looking for you, Tactius. And he knew that, hey, when we escaped, Aratat and them found out that we escaped, and Aratat's not stupid, he knows we went to Saphius, because Saphius is the closest line nearby. And something tells me he might think the Tactius is there. He's coming to mark the lands. Tactius had that gut feeling in his heart. That's why he's like, Tactius, listen to me. Something doesn't feel. The darkness of the wolf's presence on you, I can feel with every inch of my bone. And he talks about how Cyrus got marked, and he's like, I know, attack. And I can't afford to take any more risks. You were leaving today. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. Alright, that scene's sick, I know. Taki, listen to me. Somebody doesn't feel the darkness of the presence draws near. I can feel every inch of my bone. I was like, what are you saying? Sirius and party from Cyrus, right? Yeah, I met him a couple days ago, you know what I'm saying? I saved the onslaught happened, now Cyrus is no more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. No, Ivan, seriously, man, are you bluffing? Did you really write that on your own? Yes, I did, guys. I'm not playing around. I wrote that, man. Yeah. Ivan, did you know you had the gift? No, I didn't. I didn't know I was God back then, right? I remember when I was in high school. I remember when I was in high school. I remember when I was in high school. Obviously, we used to read books in class, obviously. You know, so I remember I'm like, holy shit, it must be tough to write a novel, man. Like writing a book looks hard. And I fucking wrote a masterpiece buried in all those novels. It's a crazy story, you know? I wrote a book buried in all those authors because I have the heavenly gift. I didn't know I was gifted until I started reading my chapters. I wrote 20 years later. I initially did not write Young Tackies. The first chapter used to be 20 years later. And I decided, okay, wouldn't it be cool to tell a story about Young Tackies and as Tony's when they're training as A in arts? Wouldn't it be cool to do that? And then I decided to write. I wrote Young Tackies in the hospital. Yeah. Obviously. I wrote the prologue and I rewrote the prologue and Young Tackies when I got thrown in the hospital like 5 years ago. I wrote it in the hospital. Yeah. 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 Ivan, show us more. No, guys. I'm not going to show you more. I don't want to spoil story for you, man. You'll see what I can read the book. I already showed you enough of my book. You guys have a little bit of idea. You guys know a little bit of my story, but you don't know the full story. I almost spoil the story for you. So I'm sorry. You'll find what I mean when you read my book. I almost spoil the story for you, man. Volume 3 is when things get deep. That's why I didn't show you anything in Volume 3. Because that's when the story gets deep. Yeah, I don't want to spoil the story for you, man. You'll find what I mean when you purchase my book. Ivan, what's the longest volume? I think Volume 3. Volume 3, I think, is the longest. Or Volume 2. No, Volume 3. Volume 3, the chapters are very, very long. Like, when I wrote in my notebook, each volume in Volume 3, I was like 100 plus pages. Yeah. Front and back. Whereas Volume 2, the only one that was really long, The Exodus of Sapphias, that's my longest chapter in Volume 2, but all the other ones are like maybe 60, 70 pages on my notebook. But for Volume 3, when I wrote all the chapters on my notebook, they were all like 100 plus pages, like front and back per chapter. So Volume 3 is the longest chapter. Whereas Volume 1 is the shortest. The chapters are not that long in Volume 1. Volume 1, the chapters aren't that long. Whereas Volume 3, the chapters are very, very long. I wrote like 100 pages per chapter for each volume, for each chapter for Volume 3. Yeah. It's a long chapter. Volume 3. Long volume, I mean. Ivan, do you give a lot of foreshadowings in your book? Yes, I do. When you read each volume, I give a lot of foreshadowings. And when you read the next chapter, the foreshadowing now comes to light. It makes sense. Yeah, the foreshadowing comes to light. It makes sense, obviously. I'm a genius. Great genius, yeah. Don't hate him, son, yeah. That's what God gave the keys on. I don't open the door. I know everyone hates me with the keys, but they're just hanging on you because they're jealous, man. I can open the door and I can make my easy blades. They can't. They work hard for 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 200K, 10 million, 1 million, 20 million, 50 million. I can make my easy blades on my book. I'm going to be richer than all the Hollywood celebrities. I'm going to make, I don't know, my $10 billion off the book. Me and VJ are going to be richer than all the Hollywood celebrities. Yeah, we're going to be rich, man. That's like VJ Ivan. How much money did you make off your book, by the way? I'm like, I made $10 million. You made $10 million? I'm like, yeah, sweet, I made $10 million. She's like, holy shit, Ivan, I know. He's all happy. I can't wait for Olivia, Ivan, I know. VJ just excited for Olivia, yeah. I love the character within your book, Ivan, I know. Obviously. So Lithia has great faith. Yeah, Lithia, that's what you get biblical. Lithia has great faith. Like, when you read the book, she constantly has this faith for Tachyon. When Tachyon's still in the dungeon, he tells her he's a prince of Zane. She says, I believe you. And later on in Volume 3, when the other stuff happens, she's like, she constantly believes what Tachyon's saying is true. When you read Volume 3, Tachyon tells Lithia, he's like, Lithia, you have great faith. He tells her that because Lithia has great faith. Yeah, that's why you get some Jesusisms in the Bible. Tachyon tells Lithia, you have great faith, Lithia. He praises her for her faith. And Eli and all of them grow to have more faith in Tachyon in Volume 3 when he gets deep and dark. But at first, they didn't believe he was a Prince of Zane. That's why he sees him and threw him in a dungeon. And when Tachyon told me these are Prince of Zane, they couldn't believe it. Eli's like, we don't know anything about these guys. Seize them and throw them in a dungeon. Yeah. That's why I wrote a masterpiece. I wrote an amazing book, yeah, man. After this video, I'm gonna upload my show and I'm gonna go to the store and cash my cans. Because I have no money in my bank account. I'm poor. Yeah. I blew up my money again. But this time I'm gonna be serious. I'm gonna be saving my money. I have to pay the government $800, right? If the gate sells my tax are fucking wicked people, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And now you guys understand why my book when I adapt the book will be the best movie trilogy ever made. People would tell me, yeah, this will be better than my Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it'll be better than Lord of the Rings. I'm not kidding around, guys. Even though Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece, if you think that's good, Zane's will be a better movie than that, man. You're looking at a fucking masterpiece, man. You have, in the movie, I'm going to probably have Takis. He has a trial like Jesus had a trial. In the book, he doesn't have a trial. They arrest him in his bedroom when he's sleeping in Eli's chambers. Like, when Takis is sleeping, they barge into his room. And they're like imposter, and then they seize Takis. In the movie, I might do a thing where they arrest Takis in his chambers, and Takis has a trial, and I add things, and Takis says he's the Princess Aegon and stuff, and he gets thrown in a dungeon, and they sound the bell, then Lithia goes sees him in a dungeon. I add more things. We can add more things to make it more interesting, obviously, because I'm looking at a masterpiece. I know, looking at a masterpiece, man. Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, man. Thieves, imposters, yeah, in the Safian law, if you steal from Eli, or you're an imposter, the crime, you get thrown in a dungeon, and the victim can even be put to death, man. It's a very serious crime. In the Safian law, all imposters and thieves are thrown in a dungeon. Yeah. That's why Takis was guilty, and he claimed to be the Prince of Zanes, but Eli didn't believe him. That's why Cassian doesn't have to really convince him. And Sirius and Papyri were also guilty too, because Papyri is also a thief. You'll see why I'm going to read the book. Sirius was not a thief, but he was a part of it. He's the one who told Takis to keep his identity secret. That's why Sirius was a part of it. That's why he's also thrown in a dungeon too. Those 3 victims were guilty, and Eli didn't believe them. Obviously, when you read the book, that's why Cornelius, Cassius had to really convince the guy to release Takis. You'll see what I mean when you read the book. Yeah. Are the Safians strong men? Well, they're big. They're big. The blacksmiths in Safis are big, buff men. So they're probably pretty good fighters, but they're not trained in the arts, right? They don't know how to wield a sword. Whereas Suetonius and Cassius and Takis are trained in Zayn arts. They know how to wield a sword. Why? If Takis is powerful, how could the people seize him? Well, he didn't have his sword, obviously, and those blacksmiths are big, strong, powerful men. They seized Taktius and Papyri and they threw him in a dungeon. Takis had to comply. Like, you had 2 men, they grab him and they seize him and Papyri and they throw them in a dungeon, right? Yeah. Obviously. And he didn't have his sword. He didn't have his sword, Takis, yeah. That's why I wrote a masterpiece. Because you'll see in the scene when in the Land in Chaos chapter, when Aratat, the only spoiler I'm going to give you, when Aratat wants to mark Safians, obviously, he says the Safians are not trained in the arts. Aratat knows the Safians are not trained in the arts, but he knows. But no, and one of the wolves they tell Aratat, but my lord, what about the 2 escapees? Tacitus and Cassius, those guys are trained the arts. Only the Northerns can take us. Yeah, the Wolves, no, only the Northerns can take them. The Southerns can't beat the Wolves. They're not trained the arts. Whereas the Northerns can hold their own against the Northerns who are trained in Zane arts can hold their own against the Wolves because they're trained in Zane arts. Sorry? Yeah. That's why I wrote a sick book, man. A masterpiece, yeah, man. Ivan, when Tactius said the darkness of the wolves' presence draws near, like, do the wolves have like some magic when they approach? Like, there's darkness? No, Tactius was metaphorical. When he said the darkness of the wolves' presence, it's a metaphor or a symbol of their evil devil wolves. That's what it meant. There is no like darkness magic. Well, I won't spoil the story for you when you read Volume 3, but there is no darkness magic. Like, when the wolves approach, there's not some, like, darkness mist or something like that. No, it's symbolic. Cassius is being metaphorical. He's being symbolic. The darkness of the wolves' presence draws near because the wolves are devil beings or evil beings. And that's why he's like, even though me, and he looks up to the sky, I'm not sick because the sky is cursed, obviously. He said, even though me and Tastorians escaped from the devil's grasp, fleeing to this beautiful land we behold here, we are still in Eretat's territory. And he turns to Tak. He's like, cousin. He's like, Takis, listen to me. Something doesn't feel. I'm now sick. I'm saying the darkness of the wolf's presence draws near. I can feel that itch in my bone. I'm saying, yeah. Takis had a gut feeling that the wolves are coming. That's why he told Takis, look, man, I found you, cousin. We gotta get out. We gotta get out of this cell. We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. Some sound. Yeah. Well, Ivan, who forged Tactius' sword? Cornelius' father forged the sword. He's the noble. Cornelius' father, he's known as a noble. He's the one who delivers the weapons to Zanus. Obviously, but like I told you, the Northerns, when he approaches a wall, the Northerns don't like him, obviously. And Takis at first, he doesn't like him when he delivers the sword. The Northerns don't like the Southerns, yeah. They don't like the Southerns. Yeah. Well, see, I'm going to read the prologue, right? Nelii. Cornelius' father's name is Nelii. He's a blacksmith who forges. I forget. Is it Nelii? I think Nelii is the one who. Nelii and other blacksmiths, they forged Taki's sword, and Taki's sword has inscriptions on it. Is it a special sword? No, it's not a special sword. It's special in the sense that it was made specifically for the prince. It has inscriptions on it, but it doesn't have any powers. It's not a special sword. But it was made specifically for the prince. It was a gift for the prince, obviously. Yeah. Hence why what? Yeah. Some Sarah? Hence why in that scene, Sarah's like, it is time for Taki to receive his gift that was given to him. And that leads to Taki's getting a sword when he's a kid, obviously. I don't want to spoil the story for you. Does Taki's train with a sword? No. The Cassius them told, look, Takis, even though you have your sword, I won't spoil the story for you. Even though you have your sword, you can't wield it. Takis trains and Tassonians, they train with sticks. Bamboo sticks or whatever it is. Sticks. I say sticks in the book. Wooden sticks. They're not allowed to wield their weapons, obviously. Does Tacitus and Cassius have special swords? No. Tacitus and Cassius just have a random sword, whereas Tacitus has a special sword specifically made for him with inscriptions on it. What color is his sword? I don't tell you what color his sword is. But in the movie, I want his sword to be silver. He has a silver sword, something cool, and he has inscriptions on like the ring. You can do that. Peter, what do you think of the inscriptions on the sword, like the ring? That's cool. Yeah, you can throw in a Lord of the Rings Easter egg in there if you want, right? Yeah. How much you sell your book, Ivan? My ebook I'll sell for $22. So all you guys who don't have much money, or you don't feel like paying the $85 for the beautiful red print book, you can just pay your $22 and read the book on your laptop. Or if you want to get the nice print, but most people are gonna buy the ebook. I want to read Ivan's book right away. I don't feel like waiting like 2 weeks for the book to come in the mail, and you also have to avoid spoilers. Your friends can spoil it for you. Your family members can spoil it for you. People down the streets can spoil it for you. Because once the whole reads my book, you're looking at a frenzy going around the world buzzing about my book, man. It's crazy. Did you read Ivan's book? Holy shit, that's the best fast I've read in my life, man. I was so hooked reading it. I was so entertained. Hey, man, I didn't read the book, man. Don't spoil it for me, man. Yeah, you gotta be careful with spoilers. And that's why a lot of people are gonna buy the ebook. And it's cheap too. The ebook I'm only selling for $22, right? $22. You pay your $22. You read the ebook. And you're looking at the best reading experience of your life. Reading on your laptop, yeah, you're looking at an amazing experience, man. The best reading experience of your life, yeah, man. Yeah. Ivan, is there magic in your book? Yes. Yes, obviously. I don't want to spoil the story for you. See what I mean? I don't want to spoil the story for you. See what I mean? There is magic in my book, obviously. When you read it, obviously. Well, I told you today it's like Lord of the Rings. There's a lot of things like Lord of the Rings. There is magic in my book, too. There's magic in my book, too. But, like, you find out more about the magic in Volume 3, whereas Volume 2 and 1, you don't really get any magic. But Volume 3 is when it gets dark, and that's when you get the magic is introduced and all that stuff. It gets dark. And that's why I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah. Is Papari brave? Yeah, Papari is very brave. In Volume 3, we could take Aratat because Papari is very brave, obviously. He's very brave, and Cassius tells Papyri, I know you're brave. Don't fool yourself. None of us can take Aratat for full. Don't fool yourself, Papyri. But Papyri's brave. Like we could take them and all stuff. And Cassius like, don't fool yourself, Papyri. I forget what he said. Don't fool yourself, Papyri. None of us can take a demon wolves. The royal beings, obviously. And the scene when they fight the demon bats in the caverns, I almost pulled a sword for you. Papyri's very nervous. He's a bit scared. He's like, Taki, you'll protect me, right? He's like, don't worry about it. I'll protect you. You know what I'm saying? And he tells Papyri, because Papyri's nervous. He's never been in a battle before. He's like, be brave, Papyri, when the demon bats approach. That's really kind of sick with that I wrote. Yeah, Papyri's brave. Papyri's very brave when you read the book. He's brave, obviously. Yeah. Cornelius is also very brave too. He's brave too, Cornelius. He's brave, man, yeah. Obviously. When you read the book, the Northerns constantly tell the Southerns, be brave when they face the demon beings, be brave. Because the Southerns don't have that experience. That's why they tell them, like Cassius and Tacitus tell them, like, be brave. Like Cornelius and all them, be brave. Papyri, be brave. Those are devil beings, yeah. Papyri's brave though. He's like, we could take Aratat, you know, and say even though he's a devil being, he's a bit cocky and he's a bit cocky and he's brave, and Cassius is like, Papyri, don't fool yourself. You can't take Aratat. He's like, none of us can. He's like, I can't even take Aratat. And Cassius is powerful. He's a very strong. He's an experienced warrior, but he can't even take Aratat. Tacitonius is the second best student in the arts. The two best students of Meramis and Cassius were Tactius and Tacitonius, as you read in that passage, obviously, right? When I showed you on Tactius, they're like, yeah, remember when they talk about how great, yeah, he's like, Tacitonius has mastered the arts, but not like Tactius. Tactius is the most skilled in the arts, and they all stood in wonder, yeah, just like Tactius at first predicted, yeah, obviously. Well, why is Tactius the most skilled in the arts? Well, you'll see what I mean when you read the book. I almost pulled a sword for you, man. That's why I didn't show you Volume 3. Because that's when you get the big plot twist and the story gets deep. I almost pulled a sword for you. There's a reason why Tactius is the most skilled swordsman in the land, right? Tactius is the most skilled swordsman in when you read the book. He's the most skilled swordsman in Zanus. He's even better than Cassius and Meramis. Remember, Cassius said, yeah, Tactius has mastered the arts. He's even better than me when I trained. And you see Meramis that he is Tactius' boy. Royal blood runs in his veins. And that passage, you don't really understand that, but when you read Volume 3, that passage makes sense when he said royal blood runs in his veins. You'll see what I mean when you read Volume 3. That's why I don't want to spoil for you. Yeah. He's like Tacitonius also, but not like your son Tactius. Tacitonius is the second most skilled. Tacitonius is the second most skilled in the Zanian arts out of all the kids who were training in that in that time, obviously. But Tacitonius is not as powerful as Cassius. Cassius is a stronger warrior than Tacitonius. But Tacitonius is also very strong too. He's a powerful warrior. He was Cassius and Meramis' second best student, obviously. And Tactius was number one, obviously. And then Meramis is like, he is Tactius' boy. Royal blood runs in his veins. I'm now sick, I know. Yeah. 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 So I mean, Tactius is the most skilled warrior. Yes, Tactius is the most skilled in the Zanian arts. He even surpasses the level of Cassius and Meramis and Tacitonius. He's more skilled than all those guys. Tactius is the best warrior in Zanus when you read the book. He's very, very skilled. Yeah, you'll see what I'm reading. I want to spoil a story for you, obviously. And then second most skilled is Cassius. Then you have Meramis, and then you have Tacitonius, obviously. Tacitonius is very skilled, but he's not as skilled as, like, Cassius, right? Cassius is a bit more skilled than Tacitonius. He's a general in the army. He trained Tacitonius. But Tacitonius is almost just as skilled as Cassius. He's an amazing warrior, too. Tacitonius can hold his own against the wolves. He's powerful, man. He's a powerful warrior. And yeah, obviously. Hence why in that scene, when they talk to Job, obviously, and they're like, go, take us to him, you know what I'm saying? Tacitonius was a bit paranoid. He's like, cousin, what if it's a trap? Like, what if we get thrown in a dungeon? And Cassius is like, relax, Tacitonius. We're trained warriors. No one can stand against us here. Because the Northerns know that the Southerners are not trained in Xehanarts. And Tacitonius and Cassius had their swords with them. Yeah. The Southerns can't... The Northerns are bred fighters, man. They're trained in the Xanian arts. Yeah. They're trained in the Xanian arts. They're skilled warriors. That's why I wrote a masterpiece, yeah. Ivan, what is a Xanian arts? Well, you'll find out what I mean when you read the book, obviously, right? Xanian arts is an art form that's been passed down for generations. Obviously, it's called the Xanian arts. Ivan, where did you get the idea of the Xanian arts? I got the idea of the Xanian arts from the game, the Star Wars games. You remember how the Star Wars games were called? Remember how the Star Wars games were called? They used to be called Lucasfilm Arts. Yeah, I got the idea of the Xanian arts from that, and I got the idea of the North and the South from the Knights of the Old Republic game. Because the Knights of the Old Republic game that I played, you have the Upper Lands and the Lower Lands, and that's how I came up with the idea of the North and the South. Obviously. Because the North is also known as the Upper Lands when you read the book. The South is known as the Lower Lands. And Ivan, really? That's how you got it? Yeah, that's how I got the idea. And he was like, alright, that's how you got it? Yeah, that's how I got the idea, Newtus. I got it from the Star Wars Knights of the Republic game. Yeah. Seriously, Ivan? Yeah, man. Because I used to play Knights of the Republic all the time. I beat the game like 10 times. And I'm like, I got the idea off that game of the North and the South off the Star Wars game. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I got the idea. Ivan, you're creative. Yeah, I'm very creative. That's how I got the idea. Yeah, but Ivan, if the Southerns are not trained in Xanian arts, and how the heck are Papyri and them able to fight the wolves and the bats? Well, I don't want to spoil the story for you. You'll see what I mean when you read Volume 2. I don't want to spoil the story for you, right? Yeah. You'll find out what I mean when you read it, man. I wrote a masterpiece, man. Can the Southerns hold their own against the wolves? They can, but like a lot of them die and they struggle with the wolves. The Southerns can hold their own against the random wolves, but they struggle more with the wolves. Obviously, their fighting is more sloppy, but they can hold their own against the random wolves. But they can't take like Morale and Faful, Morale and Bo. Like Bo and Morale can easily kill Papyri, Eli, Cornelius. Those guys can't kill those guys. Well, Tacitonius and Cassius can take those guys because they're trained in Xanian arts. You see what I'm saying? But nobody can take Aratat and Faful except Tactius is the only one who could take Ephesus, Aratat, and Faful because he's the best skilled swordsman in Xanians, and there's also more to the story. I won't spoil the story. See when we read the book. So I'm sorry, when we read Volume 3, I won't spoil the story for you. That's why I wrote a masterpiece, guys. A masterpiece, yeah, man. Do the women fight in the book? No, they don't fight. In Xanian law, the women are not allowed to bear arms. You'll see that when you read the book. They're not allowed to bear arms. Yeah. Because Peter Jackson might want to do a thing whereby like he has a thing with everyone, like Lithia is like, I can fight, I want to fight. I'm like, Peter, don't do that, man. You're gonna ruin the story. In Xanian law tradition, you're not allowed to. The woman are allowed to bear arms, and the wall cannot be breached. It was supernaturally made. It cannot be breached. That's why I don't want something like Helm's Deep where the wolves are appearing on ladders. Don't do that, Peter. You're going to contradict my story, and you're going to piss off a lot of fans, man. You're going to really, really piss them off, Samsara. Don't make drastic change in my story here. Follow the story. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, that's why I want to co-write with Peter. I don't want Peter perhaps ruining my story. Because I'm scared if I give Peter full power for writing the script with Fran and Guillermo del Toro, he might have the answers appear in physical form. You might have the woman fight. I'm like, Peter, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're going to ruin my fucking story. That's why I want to co-write with Peter. I don't want him making drastic changes. That's why I want to co-write with him, Samsara. Yeah. What about Baron Mr. Servant? Does he fight? No, Baron Mr. Servant does not fight. He's a servant of Queen Sarah. He doesn't fight in the movie. He's a servant of Queen Sarah, Baramis. And he's Maramis's good friend. They're good friends, obviously. Yeah. When you read the book, right? I have no. The Zane civilians train Zane arts. No, only the Northern Army. In Zanus, you have the civilians and you have the Northern Army. Only the Northern Army are trained in Zane arts. The civilians are not trained in Zane arts. But the Cassius's army and Maramis's army are all trained in Zane arts. Maramis is the captain of the archers in the army. He's the captain of the archers, and Cassius is a general of the whole army. And because Tachys is the prince, that's also Tachys' army too, because he's the prince, obviously. But Cassius is a general of the Zayn army when you read the book. That's why he's the best warrior in the. Cassius is the second best warrior after Tachys. Tachys is the greatest swordsman, greatest warrior in the land. No one is as skilled as Tachys. Tachys mastered. When you read Young Tachys, they said, yeah, he mastered. At 8 years old, Tachys mastered the arts. He mastered the arts when you read the book. And Maramis is like, he is Tachys' boy. Royal blood runs in his veins, yeah. Which ties into Volume 3. I almost spoiled story for you. It all makes sense when you read Volume 3, right? I almost spoiled story for you. And he's like, yeah, Tacitonius has mastered the arts, but not like your son Tachys. And like, at 8 years old, Tachys is so skilled. At 8 years old, he mastered the arts better than even Cassius. Hence why you have that fight scene in the book with the kids, obviously. You had like 10, 13-year-old kids. They surrounded Tacitonius and Tachys because they were jealous. Yeah, like every time, you and your spoiled cousin, you live in the castle. Cassius and Maramis always report great news about you guys, like you got in that scene, right? Saying that you're their best students, you live in the castle, you're their spoiled cousin, Tacitonius is your spoiled cousin, and they want to fight Tachys, and Tachys like, we not to fight you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You get that fight scene. Look at a sick book. Yeah, that's a sick book. Yeah, the book is sick, man. It's a masterpiece. Yeah. Yeah. Do the wolves train? Yes. When you read the book, the wolves also do training too. They train too, the wolves. You'll see that in the book. When you read the book, obviously, they train too, obviously. Do you have a specific word for the wolves? No, the wolves don't. There is no term for the wolves training. The wolves are just badass warriors. But the Xanians, I have something called the Xanian arts. Obviously. Hence why you get the symbolism with Papyri and Tachys, because Tachys takes Papyri under his wing and he trains him when you read the Lithia chapter, right? Yeah, because Papyri wants Takis to train him, and Takis ends up training. Well, obviously, Takis ends up training Papyri. Papyri ends up becoming a not bad warrior. He's a not bad fighter, Papyri, but he's not like as good as like the Northerns, right? Yeah, he's brave too. Papyri's very brave too. He's a very brave for a Southern. He's a brave guy when you read the book, obviously. Yeah, but he always tells Takis, when you read the book, Takis, you'll protect me, right? And Takis like, don't worry, but I'll protect you. Papyri becomes Takis' best friend when you read the book. They're best friends, right? That's like his best friend, pretty much. Yeah. 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 Are the Krolls powerful? Yeah, the Krolls are powerful too. The Krolls can kill the humans too, right? The Northerns can easily hold their own against the Krolls. They can easily kill the Krolls. But the Krolls can kill the Southerns, right? They're pretty powerful too. They're dangerous, the Krolls. Aratat spies are dangerous too. The Eagles are powerful too. Obviously, they're powerful too, the Eagle. The Watchers of the North are powerful too, obviously. That's why I wrote a masterpiece, yeah. 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 So I mean, Cassius is the most powerful warrior. Yeah, besides Tactius, Cassius is the strongest the strongest warrior because he's the one who him and Maramis and Tacitonians are the three most powerful warriors when you read the book, obviously. Cassius is the most powerful, and Maramis is also very powerful too because he's the one who trains the archers. And Tacitonius is also very powerful because he was Cassius and Maramis' second best student after Tactius. But even though Tacitonius was amazing, he's not Tactius. Yeah, even though Tacitonius has mastered the arts, he's not Tactius. Like Tactius at 8 years as an 8-year-old kid, he already mastered the Xanian arts. He mastered the whole thing. That's why when he's an older 30-year-old prince, he's the best skilled warrior in the land, man. Xanius. Yeah. You'll see in the beginning of your 20 years later, he has a duel with Cassius. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. Samsara? That's why. This is where the rings are. I know, Prince Birth of the Rings. What a masterpiece. So Ivan, Takis has never been outside the walls? No. Throughout his whole life, he's never been outside the walls. And 20 years later, he finally leaves the walls, and he's never been outside the walls. Hence why when he meets Sirius Papyri, he's like, this is the South? He was shocked because the South is not like to know when you read that passage. Obviously. No. That's why the Gates want to control Red Ivan. The greedy cycle has but zero, man. The money off the books for me, BG, is not for you. You're not touching my money, man. I'm not gonna let you take out on my 10 billion bucks when you have your trillion gem, man. Are you fucking crazy? No way. No way, man. Yeah, no way. Yeah. Ivan, so that's why Queen Sarah and her sister Labia and Anne were in shock and wonder when Cassius and Miramis told him Takis has mastered the arts. He has mastered every session. Never have I seen skill like his. And they're all like, what does that mean? And Miramis is like, he's Takis' boy. Royal blood runs in his veins, but they don't really know the meaning of that. You'll find out the meaning of that when you read Volume 3. That's why I don't want to spoil the story for you. It all ties into the story. That's why I wrote a masterpiece. See, right now you guys don't understand what that means. When you read Volume 3, it all comes to like, yeah, it makes sense why Miramis and Takis says that. And it makes sense why Takis is the most skilled warrior in the land. Even surpassing Cassius. Cassius trained Tactius. He's the most skilled warrior in the land, and Tactius surpassed his training. By the time he's an adult, he's the best skilled tradesman, swordsman in the land, and the warrior in the land. Tactius. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I wrote a masterpiece, guys. A masterpiece. Yeah. 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 And that's why you get Jesus symbolism with Tactius when you read the book. Especially when you read Volume 3. Like, yeah, Tactius has a lot of symbolisms of Jesus when you read Volume 3. Obviously, I won't spoil the story for you. And like he gets arrested, he gets thrown in a dungeon, he's guilty, just like Jesus was thrown in prison before he got arrested, before he was crucified. They arrested him, they arrest Tactius. Jesus claims to be the Son of God, they don't believe it, they put him to death. Tactius claims to be the Prince of Saints, and you throw him in a dungeon and he's guilty. Yeah, you get some symbolism obviously. Yeah. That's why I wrote a masterpiece, guys. Yeah, man. A masterpiece. Almost on here, guys. And after this, I'm gonna go to the store, get my cash my cans, and get another pack of smokes. I should have enough for a pack of smokes and maybe a beer. I'm gonna come back home and enjoy the show with you guys. I might clean my room because I want my Chromecast back, but all I gotta do is just sweep and mop here. Yeah. 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 Do Cassius Tacitorius like the Sullans when they first meet them? Not that much, and eventually they grow to like them more, obviously. Yeah, when you read the book. Yeah, like Cassius and them will eventually like Eli, but at first they don't like him because they seized and threw their cousin in the dungeon, obviously. Yeah, but it really took Cassius to really convince Eli that Tactius was the prince. Like Cassius was so desperate to release Tactius that he was even willing to sacrifice his own self. I won't spoil the story for you to release Tactius. That's how much he cares about Tactius. Obviously, and you get the rest of the story. I won't spoil the story for you. Yeah, Cassius loves his cousin Tactius a lot. He cares about Tactius too, but he cares about Tactius the most because Tactius is special. He's a Prince of Xenos. And that's why Cassius really, really cares about his cousin, obviously. That's why he was so furious at Joe. Like, who the fuck you think you are? How you locked my fucking cousin, the Prince in chains? Who do you Selvins think you fucking are? You know who you just locked in the dungeon? You locked the Prince in chains, man. That's why they were so furious with Job. And Tatsuni's like from a southern as well. Yeah, he's mocking him, obviously. When you read the book, right? That's why I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah. Yeah, there's something about your story that's very unique. Your characters up on the page. Your world building's amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing world. Yeah. There's something about your world life, and that's fucking unique. Your characters jump on the page. It's very, very unique. My world when you read the book, obviously. And you guys read some, like, yeah, your book is sick, man. Yeah, my book is a highly, highly entertaining read, man. It's a highly, highly entertaining read when you read it. I wrote a masterpiece. That's why the gates don't touch my money, man. Zero. That money's for me and you. I mean, for me and VJ, it's not for you. Yeah. 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 So Ivan, Safi is beautiful. Yeah, Safi's is very beautiful. The most beautiful land in the south, but the north is more beautiful than the south, obviously, when you read the book. It's the most beautiful land in that world. It's the northern, beautiful northern heavenly kingdom. Whereas Safi's is beautiful, but it's in the south. That's why Cassie said fleeing to those beautiful land that we behold here. I shouldn't say that's why Cassie said that. Yeah. Ivan, you are gifted. Yes, man. I showed you snippets of my book. And now, you understand why when I said my book was the best fantasy written, I wasn't playing around. It is the best fantasy literature ever written. It's a fucking masterpiece. That's why the Gates won't control my brand. Because you know it's a masterpiece, but Zero, I have the keys on to sell you. This money's mine for me, VJ. It's not for you. So, Sarah. Yeah, that's why I wrote a masterpiece. I wrote a masterpiece. Anyways, guys, it was real, guys. I talked for an hour and 20 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm going to go to the store and cash my cans. This is Admir. I'm signing out. Peace. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, guys. Peace, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Peace out.